Hello Sanford, welcome to another episode of The Source. You know, every once in a while we get questions from our viewing audience, and we thought that we might take the opportunity on today's episode to have a community member on and maybe ask some questions that you might have out there as well. So we're real honored today to have Starregina Lawrence, very active in our community, coming on today, and she's going to ask some questions, and hopefully you'll have some answers for her and get that information out to you as well. So thanks for joining us.
Hello Sanford, thank you Captain Herbst. Today we have with us Miss Lawrence, Star Lawrence from the community, and she has some concerns that she wanted to talk to me about, and we thought it was a great opportunity for us to share this conversation that we're going to have. Miss Star is very active in our community, and she's very concerned about the residents in the community, and she's also concerned about building and mending that relationship between the police department and the community. So that's one of the reasons that we're here today. She talked to me a few weeks ago, and there was an incident, and there have been several incidents that occurred in the city between the police department and some community members, and some of the members reached out to Miss Starr, and she approached me and she said, you know, Captain Perkins, I have some questions that I would like to talk to you about, and I want to get it on film, and I want it to be shared throughout the entire community, and maybe even the world, so people will understand what we have to do. So with that, we can start with Miss Starr. Good morning, and how are you today?
I'm great, and yourself?
Good. I'm glad you could be here with us. We had some hiccups, but we're finally here.
Right.
So if you want to just start out telling us about, you know, your concerns, or.
Okay.
All right.
I'm grateful for the honor because I love my community, and in my community is included law enforcement, so I love law enforcement. I'm grateful to be, you know, a part of the group that we have going on to, you know, bridge the gap between the police department. And I thought that this would be phenomenal for, you know, for us to come on and give the public, you know, your side, and I bring to you the public side and the comments and the concerns that have been made with myself concerning the particular incident. And of course, the young man was a black little boy, and it was police officer. So this is what I said: take away the police officer and put a parent, and where the black boy is, put no face. Okay. So it was said to me from the part, it was said to me, and I also watched the video myself, you know what happened, and it was basically the police officer asked the young man to pull his pants up. At that point right there, all he should have done was pull his pants up. Okay, so now they're like, oh, well, they use excessive force and yada yada yada. And I'm grateful for the procedure classes that I have participated in, and that's what a lot of the community need to come and do and get involved in, is get, you know, procedures, how it goes up and de-escalate. Did I say the correct word?
Right. Rather
than go down here and then cause it to go up here, you have to de-escalate. So I wanted to, you know, just so that they can hear it firsthand. Did you watch the video?
I'm not sure what video you're referring to, but I believe you're referring to an incident that occurred on Martin Luther King, the day of the parade. Is that the incident you're referring to?
No, it was at a school.
Okay.
It was at a school.
Did it happen here in Sanford?
Yes, it happened here in Sanford.
It was at a school.
And it was at a school, and SPD was involved. The video went viral.
Okay.
Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
Now, the concerns was, did it take that many officers to take the child down? And I don't want to put you on the point if you haven't seen it. I don't know what happened at the Martin Luther King one as well, but this one was concerning the child at the school.
Okay. Well, I didn't see that incident in particular. However, in any incident that law enforcement is involved, law enforcement, the officers, whether it's male or female, they're authority figures.
Right.
And they are sworn to uphold and, you know, the laws of the state of Florida, the ordinances of the city of Sanford. So when they're operating in that capacity, the citizens, they are expected to cooperate with law enforcement.
Comply. Yeah.
However, comply,
right.
good word. However, if there is, and I encourage everyone to do this, if there is a concern and they feel the encounter was improper or inappropriate, there are means to handle that, but and there are venues to handle that. On scene or while the encounter is going on, it's probably not a good time to try to handle that.
Exactly.
I always encourage individuals to do as you're told.
Right.
And then if you feel that the encounter was inappropriate, there's a venue for that. You can come, you can ask for a supervisor to respond to the scene.
Correct.
And the supervisor should respond there. If they're not satisfied with the response of the supervisor, there's which will be the sergeant, then there's a lieutenant. And then after the lieutenant, there's a captain. And then ultimately, the complaint could be sent through the Internal Affairs Division and will be fully investigated. Then the chief of police will look at it and make a final decision. So it's important here for individuals to realize that just because whatever occurred on scene, it doesn't mean it's the end all.
Right.
And if you feel that it was inappropriate, there's a venue to handle that. We want you to know that you have a voice, and we have a very, I feel, a good process in which we handle these matters. But I haven't seen that incident, and not saying that we're perfect. Police officers are human. We make mistakes. But I do believe that we get it right more often than we get it wrong. But in those instances where we don't get it right, we have a venue for the individuals to come in and make sure that you know, their voices are heard. And it's important for us to get along as a community and for the community to trust us. And that's the important thing. And then when you have those concerns, I appreciate you coming to me with that.
Of course.
I wasn't aware of that incident, but if those individuals feel that that incident was handled inappropriately, they can bring it to our attention, and we will definitely look into it.
If you look at it in the next question I'm going to go into, because the young man do have mental challenges. You know what I'm saying? Mental challenges. He's, you know, special. And, you know, and I've had a chance to talk with his mom. And she didn't go off these, her statement to me was simple. She don't know why her child does the thing he does. So I think she's in a place where she really don't know where and how to get him help. With that being said, I haven't looked into it to see, by him being a minor, I don't know what the charges were, but I do know he was arrested. So, but when it's someone that has a mental illness or there is something, how would y'all handle that with the mental illness and it being a child?
If an individual has a mental illness, officers have been trained to deal with children with autism, so there is training on that. And if that was perceived, if that was noted, then they would have dealt with it accordingly. And sometimes the way the officers choose to deal with situations, it may not seem as though it's appropriate, but however, safety is the utmost importance.
Correct.
And so when it comes to safety, sometimes individuals may not understand why the officer is operating in that manner. And when they get involved like you are, and they understand procedures, and they understand how things work, and when they understand the procedure, they understand that, oh, it may not look as though the officers have sympathy or they are concerned for the person's well-being, but they want to make sure that the person is safe, the individuals around are safe, and then the officers are safe. So, but sometimes it may not seem that way, but officers get training on individuals dealing with individuals with mental illnesses. Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know if you can, or you know, you don't know anything about anyway. But okay, say if once the individual is arrested, I'm going to be specific. Once this child is arrested, and is there like a procedure or a process that he would go through to see whether you all charge him or see if he gets evaluated, is the word. Will this child be evaluated before these charges are placed, or will he still get the charges no matter what his mental?
That is not that's not the police department's role to determine if he's going to be evaluated. I believe they are, but it's not something under the umbrella of the police department.
Okay.
That will be through the juvenile justice system. I believe they are, and if they are, it will be noted the next time the officers make contact with that individual. But as far as we're concerned, we're there for the criminal aspect of the incident, and then once we do our report, it's submitted to the juvenile justice system, and it's going through that. It's going to go through that process. But I do know they have intake counselors and things of that sort, and they do meet with the juveniles. But I'm not sure of what the extent is as far as the evaluation process.
Okay, okay, because you know it was a lot of in my inbox, calling, text my phones, and you know, and I wanted to present it on a balanced level because I'm learning that. You know, to come in balance because you get more of an understanding, get communication, and you get things accomplished. And one more question.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, being an officer, and I'm going to go there because in the interview that I was going to do on my live, it was something that, you know, they wanted me to ask. Okay, being an officer and being black, do you run into challenge decisions when there are blacks involved? Did I say that correctly? Did you understand?
Could you ask me one more time?
Okay, being a black officer.
Okay.
And when there are decisions to be made, and there are blacks, other blacks involved.
You mean other black officers or
No. Victims are people from the community. Do you find yourself making challenging decisions? But I'm going to answer it for you so you'll know where I was going. So I don't want to put you. And at the end of the day, you're officer and you're black, but at the end of the day, you're captain. Okay? So you're going to make decisions from a captain's point of view and not a black man's point of view.
Is that what they're, no, I can.
Did you understand?
I understand what you're asking now.
Right.
Okay, when it comes down to me making a decision, it's based off of what's right and what's wrong. It doesn't matter the race or the gender. What matters is what's right or wrong. And I know sometimes individuals think that because I am African American or black, whatever you know, you choose to categorize me, and I may be dealing with a black person, I deal with the individual the way I would want someone to deal with my family. I have family members that get into trouble. I have family members that, you know, may not support my decision to become a law enforcement officer, and I understand that. And it doesn't matter how they feel about me, I'm accountable for my actions. And at the end of the day, I have to be able to put my head on a pillow, knowing that I've done the right thing at the end of the day. It doesn't matter to me, you know, any of that. None of that matters. Right or wrong is what matters to me, because at the end of the day, I also have to answer to someone. You know, not only, you know, people on this earth, but there are other people I have to answer to.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Just because I have this uniform on doesn't mean I'm not human. I'm human. I do have emotions. I do have feelings. And I do see officers sometimes behaving inappropriately, citizens sometimes behaving inappropriately. You know, I see it. So if I'm going to say that I'm going to look at the situations for what they are, right or wrong, I'm not going in automatically assuming that the officer is right. Because like I talked to you about the process earlier that we have with dealing with individuals, officers that may not make the right decision in a situation. But we make sure we deal with that situation, we try to correct the behavior, and we try to move on. But it's important for the citizens to understand that the officers here, yeah, they have a uniform on, they have a badge, but we're human, we make mistakes, and then it's a good opportunity that, you know, I think it'd be better if they come to the police department or reach out to a supervisor, someone like me, like you're doing, and to talk about these situations and to understand that, you know, there shouldn't be a wall there, let's bridge this gap. Officers make mistakes, citizens make mistakes, but let's figure out how we can fix it and how we can get past it. Because at the end of the day, we are all community members. Police department, citizens, we're all community members.
Correct. And I want to end this. Well, I want to truly commend you, and I want to do it in its entirety, because one bad apple don't make the whole bag bad. And I'm grateful for the growth that I see in the grooming of officers in the police department. And I've been working, you know, with you hand on hand in the group. And when I say working with him, that means in a group to bridge, you know, differences, not in snitching or anything. And I did get an award, and it said for the citizens, but that doesn't matter what people think. But I'm just so grateful for, you know, your partake in, you know, my partake and the others in the group. And I just want to take this time to invite others that are watching this video, may glance this video, if you are citizens, to come in and join us in these public safety meetings. Come in and join in on the procedures. Don't be ignorant to the fact of what's going on. Know the facts. That way, if an officer is wrong or he's abusing or maybe acting inappropriately or unprofessionally, then you do what you're supposed to, and then you bring it, you know, to the police department. Don't fight fire with fire. You know what I'm saying? You hold your what's the word I'm trying oh gosh. Well, anyway, you hold your place in the right, doing the right thing. And if that officer's doing something wrong, then you come and put it on paper. But don't try to do it on the scene, because on the scene, guess what? The officer is right. So at the end of the day, comply. So I'm so great that you all tuned in. I'm glad that I had the opportunity to come in.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking your time out, your valuable time, and coming out and speaking to us about this.
Sure.
Hopefully we reached at least one person. You'll understand that, you know, I'm not some superhuman. None of us are. Miss Star is not afraid to come and talk to me, and none of you should be.
Right.
I'm just as a human as you are,
right,
and as, you know, the individuals that are watching this program are.
Right.
Thanks again.
You are.
Remember to comply, do what the officer asks you to do, and if you're not pleased with the encounter in any fashion, please feel free to contact the Sanford Police Department, myself, any one of the supervisors here, and we'll make sure your concern is heard and addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I've had the opportunity to review the video that Ms. Lawrence was referring to. After reviewing the video, I saw what she referred to as several officers, and she asked the question, did it take that amount of officers to handle that situation? And as I spoke to Ms. Lawrence, I expressed to her that sometimes in situations like that, the more officers that you have on a scene to control the situation, they don't have to, you know, revert to secondary pieces of equipment that they have. You have officers restraining the individual, trying to keep him under control in order so he, to keep him from hurting himself or hurting someone else. And the other officers around were doing crowd control. So with this video, I believe the officers' actions were appropriate for the situation, as no one sustained any major injuries. And with that, I appreciate Ms. Lawrence for bringing this to our attention. Anytime any of the citizens have any concerns about any of the actions that our officers take, please bring it to our attention so we can address it in a manner that's such as this, or even in a private setting. And thank Ms. Lawrence again, and until next time, keep it safe, Sanford.